It's ASMR story time. In today's episode, we will continue where we left off with Hikari and continue the greatest story ever. So, get back, grab a nice cozy little blanket, and get ready to hear tonight's story with some ASMR for some simple, easy, quick sleep. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, where were we? Ah yes, Hikari and Ralph. Hikari and Ralph embarked on a dangerous journey to go towards the first samurai temple ever created. It was deep in an old forest in Japan. As Hikari and Ralph to the old temple, Hikari saw the old architecture of the abandoned building and of the moss all around them. Hikari made her way up to the old statue and opened it. When she opened the door, she found that the temple was empty, except for one thing in the very center of the entire thing. Shurikens. If you don't know, shurikens were like the other weapon of the samurai in the Ana. Little ninja stars used to throw. They were of elegance, of grace, and anyone who would wield them would be the most elegant hero of all time. Kari stared in awe. She'd only read about them in books. The shurikens, she said. What? Ralph asked. The shurikens, Hikari repeated. Most important weapon in all of history. It's right there. Then let's get it, Ralph said. Wait, but Ralph had already ran away. As Ralph ran across the empty temple, he accidentally tripped on a rock. He fell to his stomach, and when he got up, he saw that a bunch of different skeletons had appeared before him, out of the ground, as if they'd risen from the dead. These were no ordinary skeletons. They had swords and armor similar to samurai, and they withdrew them, holding them in front of Ralph. Ralph stood and watched, terrified of the skeletons all around them. As they approached Ralph, Hikari yelled from where she stood, "Wait!" The skeletons turned, and they looked at Hikari. Hikari froze for a moment, then did the first thing she thought of. She picked up a dead flower sitting on the ground, and she blew into it, causing it to bloom into a beautiful cherry blossom. The skeletons watched in awe as they made their way towards her. They looked deep at the skeleton, and they realized that Hikari was a very powerful individual. As Hikari held the flowers in her hands, she held it up to the rest of the guards and of the skeletons. They watched her in awe as they looked at him. But that only lasted so long, because then, as if suddenly, Nikano crashed through the ceiling of the temple. She came crashing in through the roof, and she stood there, the katana drawn. Ralph turned and looked up at her. He ran towards the shurikens, picking them up and throwing them at Nikano. The shurikens missed, and they hit one of the skeletons. The skeletons turned and looked at Ralph. They began to run after Ralph. Hikari watched this as she ran. As she ran and picked up the shuriken, as she picked it up, she felt a surge of power and course through her entire body. It froze her for a brief second. When she looked up, she saw Nikano headed for Ralph. As Hikari threw the shurikens, they froze Nikano in her place. Nikano stood frozen as she turned, looking. Hikari made her way towards Ralph. "We need to leave," she said. "A little hard to do that," Ralph said, surrounded by skeletons. "They're all over me." Hikari picked up one of the shurikens and fired them down at the ground. It created a seismic earthquake underneath them, as Hikari, allowing for Hikari to run and grab Ralph. When she grabbed Ralph, she ran all the way back home, till eventually they left in the ship. Nikano couldn't chase them, for she was still frozen, and the guards had been destroyed by the earthquake. As they sailed off into the sunset, Hikari felt the shurikens in her hands. She couldn't believe what she'd saw. She'd had one of the weapons, one of the most powerful, elegant weapons in all of the world. So, concludes tonight's episode. I hope you enjoyed and thank you